last few cars coming into position. Colourful grid, isn't it? Lots of variety, oranges, yellows, greys, reds, blues, greens. Really nicely turned out grid for this Protech Shock Sport Specials race.
5-second board already been shown, so then we get it underway.
Red lights go on and they go out. Away we go. And a pretty even start between the two front row. And actually, it's not that good a start by Andy Hiley because he's dropped back to about third place. But he did this at the earlier race as well, let's not forget. So it's Paul Collingwood that has the lead. And as they turn their way through Old Hall, it's Rob Johnston following him. Then it looks like Hiley in third place. One of the cars a bit further back, getting out over the runoff area on the first corner. But it's Martin Gambling that's up to third place there by the looks of it as they headed down into Cascades ahead of Andy Hiley. But we saw this in the first race. He dropped back to about fourth place and half a lap later he was in the lead.
Wonder if the power distribution on the Kronos doesn't work well off the line, but you can see there he's fighting back. He's already got Gambling, he's gone round the outside of Johnston, now he's up the inside of the leader, and he gets Paul Collingwood as well. He basically went round everybody at the same time, because he was fourth in Cascade. He leads now, though, on the run down towards the Britain chicane. Then you've got Collingwood, Johnston and Gambling following. There's Paul Boyd, 17, watch out for him. He was the man on the move in the earlier race, not quite as dramatically as Hiley, getting them all in one go, but Paul Boyd picking them off one by one. I think he'll do the same here. He's getting alongside Adrian Cooper on the running over Hilltop up towards the Hislop chicane, but Gambling, he's fighting past Johnston up the inside. Here's the Paul Boyd move, that doesn't work, he backed right out of it.
Yeah, worth mentioning that the last time the Sports Specials were here in 2016, Rob Johnston was one of the race winners, Clive Hudson. Paul Boyd's long-time teammate in the Eclipse was the other on that occasion 3 years or so ago. There's the fulcrum of Colin Benham, a former champion in Sports Specials as well. But here are our leaders up at Druids then. It's Hiley leading in the car that's also racing RGB, the bike engine category in the past, from the rest of them. As they come up towards Lodge Corner, it's Collingwood in second. Gambling's looking to take that off him, though. He's much later on the brakes into Lodge Corner, and it looks like he went through. We'll get confirmation of that when they come back into our sight in the commentary box. Yes, he has done so. It's the red car now up into second of Martin Gambling. Paul Collingwood down to third. He might go down to fourth place here because Rob Johnston up on the inside of him into Old Hall Corner, but Collingwood could just about see that one off.
Yes, Johnston just couldn't find enough room. He runs a bit wide. You got Conroy, his teammate, not far behind, and Liam in sixth. So not much progress from Paul Boyd on that first lap. He just can't get past Adrian Cooper, so that's hampering his progress. Chris Pike leads Class B. Stuart Thompson started well, though, up to second, ahead of Brendan Dudley, and then Ben Powney up next, who's also the best of the Mazda low cost. There is Gambling in second, turning his way through Island Bend, but Hiley getting away in front of him, but he's dropping the battle for third between Collingwood and Johnston. P3 and 4, but up the inside at the back of that shot, Paul Boyd. He's going to get Adrian Cooper this time, up the inside in Shell Hairpin. Such a good run through the corner. Now he's alongside Liam, and he's going past him too. So that's a couple of places sort of in one. Move through for Paul Boyd. He's sixth now.
Yeah, he is. So the next target is the Cyana. In fact, a couple of Cyanas. Mark Conroy is the first of those that he'll come across, number 20. And then the 82 car of Rob Johnston has picked off one of those now under braking for Hislop, so he's gone through to fifth place now. Rob Johnston, the next target to get up into the top four and back on terms with his fellow Eclipse drivers.
So flying along now is Paul Boyd, and is he going to get past Johnston maybe over towards Druids? They go. No, he couldn't quite get alongside Johnston there, but Paul Boyd doing very similar to what Andy Hiley did and just picking them off in one big row. So out onto the straight where they go underneath Warwick Bridge, and here comes Boyd up the inside, and he's going to get Johnston here, I think. He does, and in the background, Liam trying to do the same to Mark Conroy. So not a good corner there for the Cyanas of Johnston and of Conroy. They both lost out there, but maybe Conroy's going to fight back, or is he actually going to lose another one? Because Adrian Cooper's coming around the outside of him, and he does it. So Conroy's lost two there. And then the car at the back of that queue is the one of Anton Landon. So that's a good four-car battle. Liam now has Adrian Cooper coming up alongside him, and Cooper goes through. Both former champions, I think, Adrian Cooper and Liam having a good battle. Yeah, both of them champions in the past. So, indeed, the reigning champion is Liam. And he switched from Class B to A partway through this season. So 8.5 minutes of the race left to go. Andy Hiley, unsurprisingly, with the best lap of the race of 1:49.670, so only a few hundredths of a second slower than the time he managed in the earlier race.
As we watch those two then battling with each other, it's not really helping them to get any closer to Rob Johnston in the Sienna, car named after an African moth. As we watch those two go over the curbs there, and you've got the two Siennas next up.
They're the Cooper M battle, both Pro Cop LA Golds, aren't they? Racing for the 6th position. Big lock up though from Cooper. Can he get the car stopped? He can. He had a huge amount of understeer as he turned through the right-handed element of the Hislop chicane, but he got it turned in eventually. And now they head off up the hill, up Clay Hill, up towards the Druids. Very quick right-hander. They go through the left kink first, but I think Cooper is there ahead of them. Yep, he is. He hangs on to that 6th position, and they head off down the straight again. In the background of that shot, so already at Lodge, I reckon Paul Boyd's ahead of Paul Collingwood now for 3rd. We'll check that when they cross the line.
Well, Hiley's gone through in the lead, Gambling 2nd, and yes, it is Paul Boyd now up into 3rd place in the yellow car. Now, how far is he behind Martin Gambling? He's about 2.5 seconds behind Martin Gambling, but on that lap he did a 150.42, 9/10, no, just 1.1 seconds faster than Boyd. And we've got, is that Conroy, I think, coming into the pit. So the number 20 car of Mark Conroy, the second of the signers, is going to be a retirement again by the looks of it for the 2nd race today.
Shame, because that goes well, didn't it, when Mark Conroy the car was working.
It would be excellent in a 2-lap race.
I mean, Class B, Chris Pike's got a massive lead there, but Stuart Thompson and Ben Powney are battling for 2nd and 3rd. The Caterham versus the low cost. David Winter, Brendan Dudley, Martin Buckland, all battling there. So that's a great battle of a 2nd in Class B. So whether we can pick that up, the battle between Stuart Thompson and Ben Powney, 16 and 37, that will be a good one to watch. Mark Conroy was a short stop. Is he going to get back out? There's Stephen Wells. So it's the cars behind Wells who are battling for 2nd in Class B. There's Thompson. That's a bit of a bigger gap now over Ben Powney. Yeah,
Powney in the first of the Mazda low cost then in 14th position. Then you've got David Winter and Brendan Dudley and Martin Buckland. And that's a big group of cars. Here they are. So it's really Thompson and Powney disputing 2nd place in Class B. Chris Pike, number 25, a bit further up the road. There's the 44 car of Stephen Lansley. He's actually a Class A car, running in 20th position there, just ahead of Oliver Basson in his Mazda low cost.
Strange for Stephen Lansley, because we've seen that car run really well in the past, haven't we? But this year not going particularly. Oh, big moment there for Brendan Dudley. He is the driver in one of the Pro Cop LA Golds that run in that class.
There's Justin Cox in the number 97 Caterham going through. There's one off into Druids by the looks of it. So we'll try and pick up what has gone on down there in a moment as Paul Collingwood comes across the line. He is now being chased by Rob Johnston. So Collingwood in number 11, Rob Johnston in number 82. We think possibly there is a car behind all of that, but we can't actually tell. We'll try and work out who's dropping down the order.
Cooper and M haven't come through, who are battling hard. There's Liam, isn't it?
Yeah.
He somehow managed to end up behind the first pile of tyres. Not quite sure how he... Not unless he's pulled off after hitting something.
Yeah, possibly.
But he's out the car and okay. Not sure where Adrian Cooper's ended up.
No, he's not come through either. But this is the battle for 2nd place in Class B on your screens now. Number 16 is Stuart Thompson, the Class B championship leader. Ben Powney right behind him. There's Adrian Cooper's number 21 car. Now all the dust has settled. So it looks like the was are coming together between the two teammates, effectively, in the Pro Comp LA Golds. Adrian Cooper and Liam. So that's not going to go down too well, one wouldn't have thought. There's the 65 car of Martin Hayward, just ahead of number 70, Bradley Snow, in their Silver Phoenixes. And there is the 58 car, that's Mickey Scott's MEV MX150R, just putting a split of flame out of the back of it. 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go. That's Rob Johnston just going through a shot in 5th position. There's Anton Landon, number 64, in 6th position, just coming down in towards Hislops. 7th place then is number 25, Chris Pike. So with demise of M and Cooper, Pike up into 7th place overall.
And the Class B leader, of course. Notice that Gamble and Boyd are quite close for 2nd now, less than a second between them.
Mark Conroy back into the pits for a 2nd time.
OK, so let's see. There we go, see him on the screen. We'll try and pick up what's going on for 2nd between Gamblin and Boyd, because they were less than a second apart. Here's Hiley out of Deers Leap, so he completes 5 laps as the leader. Great battle in Class B on the screens. Gamblin still ahead of Boyd, by the way, so let's watch the screens. You've got Batten in there in the Mazda low cost. You've got the Pro Comps, the and the Caterhams too. But here's the battle for second overall here between Gamble and Boyd, the two Eclipses.
Yeah, so the gap was 0.4 of a second as they came over the line this time. Boyd into the 49s now. He's gone even faster than he did in the earlier race, a 1:49.82. So too has Andy Hiley, by the way. He's done 1:49.55 now, so they've both gone just a few hundredths of a second quicker. So two similar cars here, but Paul Boyd has been driving these Eclipses for a lot longer than has Martin Gambling, who started out in low cost. We've seen him racing the Compact Cup as well. He's occasionally shared the BMW Z3 with Matt Sherrington in long distance races as well. So fight on for second place here, but you do kind of fancy that Paul Boyd in the yellow number 17 car, the Anglesey race winner, is going to make it through at some point. Gambling a double winner at Castle Combe earlier on in the year. Out of Britain's, up over Hilltop they'll go, and now down into Hislops. Is this going to be where Paul Boyd has a go? Yes, he looks to the inside, but then decides better of it. Pulls back into the slipstream of Martin Gambling. Line astern through there. Possibly then, well, I mean, there may well be yellow flags at Druids if he was thinking about making a move there, if those are still required after the offs for the two cars there, the two Pro Comp LA Golds. Coming up to that part of the circuit now. Can't see any yellow flags from that camera shot. In fact, it looks like it is clear from that point of view. And actually, it looks like Gambling's pulled away a little bit.
Good to see both those drivers out the car. So particularly for Adrian Cooper, looked like, yeah, they can see he's gone pretty heavily, hasn't he, into the tyre wall. So good to see him out.
And there is a green flag on the exit, so there must be a yellow on the way in.
OK, so like I say, good to see them out the cars. And OK, leaders across the line. Andy Hiley's done 6 laps now, and he's just under 5 seconds ahead of these two battling Eclipses. And it's Gambling ahead of Boyd. Boyd was the winner at Anglesey, beat Andy Hiley in a fair fight there, whereas Gambling got his 2 wins at Combe when Hiley had car issues. But Gambling much further ahead in the championship. 5 podiums for him before this weekend, and actually 5 for Boyd too. Down Lakeside they go. Slow lap from Chris Pike, I see. Our Class B leader has dropped back a bit on that lap, so hopefully all is okay for him. He still leads that class by a good margin. Just spotting him come across the line. Now, there's Hiley, though, our leader. Haven't really seen much of Hiley, have we, today? He's been pretty dominant. Here's a second-place battle. Gambling still ahead of Boyd into the British chicane. Here, the Class B second-place battle. That's Thompson and
David Winter now, isn't
Winter,
it?
yes. So that's the low-cost chase in the Caterham.
But it's Ben Powney just behind. There he is, still leading the Mazda low-cost division from Oliver Batten and James Millman. With less than a minute to go in this race, so it'll be the last lap board for Andy Hiley next time around.
Into Island Bend comes that battle for second place in Class B. There's Thompson. And then Winter behind. Of course, these are battling, or 2 of the battlers in the Class B Championship, aren't they, with Chris Pike?
Yeah.
And all 3 of them are on the podium positions in this race too. And Stuart Thompson still yet to win, though.
Be interesting to see if Chris Pike's lost any more time on this lap as well. He's not sort of fallen back into their clutches by any stretch of the imagination just yet. So Winter chasing after the Caterham of Thompson through Britain's chicane.
Yeah, Pike's 20 seconds ahead of them, isn't he?
And the last lap board's just gone out, and we've got nose to tail for the lead going into Old Hall Corner for second, I should say. And this time Paul Boyd does go down the inside of Martin Gambling. And Gambling just about holds on there, but Boyd's going to try and position his car on the left-hand side of the circuit, which will be the inside for Cascades. Gambling tries to cut that off on the right-hand flick down through Denton, so it looks like it's going to be Gambling number 99 that for the moment holds on. Can he do it all the way to the line, Josh?
It's a real challenge, wasn't it, into Old Hall from Boyd, and he looks like he's challenging again on the run up towards Island Bend, the fast left-hander. Is he alongside Boyd? No, he can't quite get to Gambling there, but he's still close enough to fight in towards the Shellall's hairpin. He's trying to go right round the outside. It's a tougher move to pull off, but if he can get there, it'd be the inside for the chicane. Couldn't do it, so he switches line. Gambling's got the inside for Britons, but Boyd's alongside him. Who's going to have to give the position? Boyd, Gambling jumps over the curb. It was a pretty stout defence there from Gambling. Hard up over the curbs. Another slow lap from Pike, I see, but he's still a decent amount ahead of the rest. But will he be able to hold on?
Yeah, he's got about 10 seconds in hand. They're on to their last lap as well now. It's still Gambling in this all-Eclipse battle for second place from Paul Boyd here. They're not too worried about Andy Hiley and the Chronottis up the road. And it looks like he's going to take the win here but it's a matter of Eclipse pride. Is it going to be Gambling or Boyd then that takes it? There's Hiley just turning into Druids. Now, he's not actually that far ahead of these two, is he? As they turn their way through Druids for the final time. And along the straight up towards Lodge Corner, it looks like Gambling's just about got enough of a gap, unless Boyd is very late on the brakes into Lodge Corner. Into Lodge they come. He's not very late on the brakes into Lodge Corner, so it's going to be Andy Hiley that is going to come through to take a second win today in the Protech Shock Sports Specials Championship. It's side by side over the line for second place, and who gets the verdict? It is a dead heat for second place. Paul Boyd and Martin Gambling, both exactly the same times, 1.71 seconds behind the leader. It's not the first time we've seen that today. Paul Collingwood, number 11, is 4th. 82, Rob Johnston, is 5th. 64, Anton Landon has yet to come through, but should come home in 6th place, Josh.
See if we can pick up Chris Pike, our Class B leader, car number 25, because he's been slowing on those last couple of laps, particularly on the last one. He should be the next, one of the next cars through. There's Liam and Adrian Cooper, wasn't it, after their incident? We're waiting for our Class B leader. Has Chris Pike made it through this last lap? Car number 25, the Pro Comp. Yes, there he is. He does manage to crawl to the flag after, 3 slow laps at the end there.
And he's putting straight onto the grass at the end of the race, so he obviously knows there was a problem, which he's just managed to nurse to the checkered flag, and then he's pulled off. He's not going to make it round the slowing down lap, which pretty much to get to hear from him at the end of the race either, unfortunately.
Stuart Thompson was second. He held on ahead of David Winter, and Ben Powney caught them again towards the end. So Powney 4th, but the best of the Mazda low-costs. Behind him in that category was Oliver Batten and Stuart Sellers, 2nd and 3rd in Mazda low-costs. But Chris Pike, seeing on the screens, the winner of Class B, out of the race. And Martin Gambling, that race to the flag against Paul Boyd, looked like he was celebrating winning that battle, but whether that's going to be the case with the dead heat, we should wait to get a verdict. And interestingly, whether Hiley was backing off because it was the last lap, they were getting pretty close to him, weren't they? Only a couple of seconds away.
They were, and obviously things in the championship depend on whether Gambling is classified 2nd or 3rd there. If we assume that he's classified 2nd for a moment, as a working assumption, he'll be 19 points behind Andy Hiley, and he would still be in with a chance of the championship going into the final meeting at Snetterton.
Basically, Hiley just needs one good race there, doesn't he?
He does, doesn't he?
Well, we have seen, like at Castle Combe, where that car has had issues.
Yeah, mathematically, because the way the drop scores are working, virtually everybody who went into that race still with a chance of taking the title is still in with a chance of taking the title, because they all picked up useful points. None of them lower down than 3rd in their respective classes, none of the top 5.
Important for Chris Pike to get that home, because that puts him in a good place for the Class B Championship, heading to that final meeting. So he should have overhauled. He's pretty tight, isn't it, between Winter, Thompson and Pike at Snetterton. But Pike's the driver with the pace, but this car issue that's hampered him at the end, a problem.
On your screen there, you can see Chris talking to Matt Gilmore, who's on the other side of the fence, the Pro Comp boss, just to discuss what the problem might have been towards the end of the race. The thing that matters is that he has brought the car home, though. For parking up about 100 yards over the line.
I wonder if it was leaking some sort of oil. He sort of touched around the engine bay and he sort of looked at his finger and well, that's not very nice. So whether it was some sort of leak there. But the winners are heading towards Parc Fermé, so we shall hear from them shortly here at Oulton Park, with just the one further race to go at here, which will be for the bike sports, and they had a pretty eventful race earlier.
They certainly did, didn't they? Just think about the sports specials though, because the fact that it's 2 drop scores at the end of the season. Hiley's already had sort of 3 non-results, if you like. So we say he needs 1 decent result, but equally a non-finish there could be quite damaging. And then really you're looking at Gambling and Winter, possibly the ones to pick up the pieces if Hiley has some kind of disaster. But it takes a couple of non-finishes. We've seen drivers today have 2 non-finishes. Mark Conroy, for example, in the Sienna, has had not much luck here today at Oulton Park.
And as you say, 3 DNFs for Hiley shows that car hasn't been reliable every time out.
No, and I think one of the issues he's had over the last couple of seasons is trying to get the reliability first, And actually now he's got that, pretty much got the reliability sorted to some degree, but the pace is there as well, and it was really a phenomenal pace. 1:49.55, reducing his own lap record by about another tenth of a second, I think, in that race. So that is a really good pace in a car that runs on treaded tyres, let's not forget.
Absolutely. So see the marshals are going to have to do some work, maybe with the circuit staff too, up there at Druids, because Adrian Cooper's car looked like that went in pretty heavily, didn't it, into the tyre wall there in that incident with Liam.
Yeah, the circuit staff are going to have to do some work, aren't they, to try and get the tyres barriers rebuilt for this final bike sports race of the day.
See a good number of spectators here as well. You see the car park there, staying right to the end of the 750 Motor Club race day. It's good to see lots of people coming out for this Oulton Park meeting.
Yes, I should think this is probably one of the highlights of the season here at Oulton Park, with 750 Motor Club making their visit, always bringing very good grids and entertaining racing. So I'm sure that it's one that the locals here, and there's always a good number of them at Oulton Park, really have enjoyed, with a good mix of racing, different types of cars, the endurance races and sprint races as well. It's been very entertaining to watch from our commentary box, watching on the screens, and I'm sure it has been from trackside as well, at many of the excellent vantage points that they have here at Oulton Park. So we'll see if we do manage to get Chris Pike, because his car has now been taken to Parc Ferme, I think. But we'll certainly hope to get our overall top three: Martin Gambling, Paul Boyd and Andy Hiley. They'll be being brought out of Parc Ferme even as we speak, I think, and towards Jacob Harris. So we will head down now to the pit lane and hear from our top three drivers from the Protech Truck Sports Specials race with Jacob.
I'm down here with Mazda Low Cost Class winner Ben Penny. Ben, tell us about your race.
Yeah, pretty action-packed. It's always good fun running with these sports specials guys. There's always like different strengths of the cars, but yeah, brilliant race. And I don't know where the other Mazda guys were, but I'm guessing they're behind me, which is good.
How tough is it keeping pace with the big boys?
It's quite good. It's like David and Goliath, I think. It's it's really cool. I enjoy the challenge, and it's quite hard around here because there's quite a few long straights where they can kind of get away. But I gave it my best, so yeah, all good.
And how's your weekend been at Oulton Park? You enjoyed yourself up here in Cheshire?
Yeah, no, it's been really good. The first race, unfortunately, ended in a bit of a trip to the barriers, which is never good, is it? But yeah, apart from that, it's all been good. And yeah, the team at TSR have just been amazing all weekend. So managed to get the car ready as per usual, even with a little bit of damage we had. So all good.
Brilliant. Thanks for talking to us, Ben. Next up, we have Chris Pike, who is the B-Class winner. Chris, thank you very much for coming to chat with us again, as you've won twice today.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I very nearly didn't finish, actually. I was driving along, and I think it was about 3 laps before the end, and I kept thinking my foot was on fire. And it turned out there's a burst hose in there, and then the car got hot. And I kept looking at the temperatures, and it got quite high. And then the last lap board came out, and I thought, I need to finish. I need the points. So I literally crossed the line and then pulled it straight over, which is why I got towed in. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Got off to a good start, and then just sort of kept it consistent, and then just about finished the race.
Just how hot are we talking?
It felt like my foot was on fire. It felt like someone had actually put a match to my foot. And then sort of coming out the last corner, I think it was 3 or 4 laps from the end, I nearly lost it. And I thought, well, something's leaking here. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. At least we finished. That's the main thing. We needed the points. So yeah.
A little bit of work to do before the next round then.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it's not too serious. But we'll have a look. We'll get it back and have a look at it. But we'll be out for the next round anyway, whatever happens.
Good stuff. Get the duct tape out.
Okay, yeah, I will do. Cheers.
Thanks for talking to us. Next up, I believe we have our second and third place duo. So we have Paul Boyd and Martin Gambling. Lads, we don't actually know who finished where. Close finish to the end.
That's such a close finish, and what a great race. He was quicker than me, and I was doing everything to keep him back. And no mistakes, but he was just quick, and I don't know who's won it. Who's not won it? I know who's won it.
I think about it, yeah. The laps up to the finish were just fantastic. That was great racing. Loved it.
It was certainly great to watch. Can we expect to see more of the same next round?
Hope so.
definitely.
Brilliant. Well, whoever did get there, congratulations. I think we're going to talk to the winner briefly now before the last race of the day. And the winner, who's just a bit distracted in a conversation with the other drivers. Andy Hindley is coming to talk with us now. Andy, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
That's how you managed it.
How did I manage it? Made not quite as bad a start as last time, and managed to nick it round the outside towards Shell, get back in the lead there, and got the hammer down then, as it were, and tried to get 2 quick laps in to get away, and I managed to, so managed to drive clear then.
A solid double victory for you today. What is the sport special secret?
No idea. The secret of the championship, camaraderie. It's good, honest racing. Everybody enjoys it. Everybody looks after each other if there's a car problem, so it's just good.
Glad to hear it. Real community spirit here at 750 Motor Club. Expect to see you out next time?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Good stuff. All right then. Congratulations, and I'll see you then.